Happy Monday, everybody. Happy March Madness Monday. Happy you're recovering for St. Patrick's Monday. Happy Back in America Bobby Monday. Back American Bob, Mara Bobby, Mara Burrow. I'm not a
I am
Burrow God.
your American boy. American boy. Remember that
His
Kanye
name is,
pre-chorus?
his name is Bob Cock. That's a fun name.
I don't know how that relates to me being an American, but I'm on board. My name is
What? Kid Rock, the
Bobby with a
greatest
cock.
American of all times.
I mean, he's
Kid
super
Rock shoots
American.
cans for your freedom. He shoots cans for your freedom.
How pissed do you think he was Shane got the sponsorship from Bud Light, not him?
You know they're boys now, right?
Shane and Kid Rock? Or Shane and
They make these
Bud Light?
videos. They make videos together and stuff. Kid Rock and Shane.
Okay, because the funniest solution would have been if it was Kid Rock and fucking Dylan Mulvaney. They were the new
They
best
would be
friends. He's like, you
boys.
know what? You like shooting Bud Light too. Shit.
I like getting shot in the can. Thanks,
Wait
Dylan.
a second. Wait a second.
Well, if she had explained it to Kid Rock to make him get why it's okay to be transgender, she's like, "You ever see Optimus Prime?" He's like, "I like Optimus Prime. I'm like Optimus Prime. Look what I can turn into." Like, "Oh, nice."
Hello, America. We lost the midget, but I got another freak to be on stage with me.
I wish I knew something that rhymed with midget. The crowd cheers.
Bridget. Bridget. He's like, no, R. Kelly already did that.
How about widget? It's like it's. I mean, it is a thing, but it's also not a thing.
It's going to be hard to carry that to a chorus.
So how was traveling back? How was the shows and all that stuff?
The shows were great. Canada can suck my dick collectively.
Why? You
America.
hate Canada?
No, no.
All of it?
No, no, no. It's just kind of like your little brother, and you got to go remind him America's better than you in every shape, way, form possible. And, we did
Don't,
that.
don't they have better donuts? Isn't Tim Hortons the best thing ever there? Whatever.
Okay, well, Tim Hortons is pretty fucking good. I got this peep donut. You know, I'm a sucker for donuts. I got this, like, it had eggs, like those Easter chocolate eggs on top. Oof. But I just spoke
Yo,
immediately. Yeah,
that's too
yeah.
much.
It was too much. It really was. But, Canada, they don't have any of the preservatives and shit, so all their food's healthy. I ate like a pig, lost 3 pounds.
Wait, there's no preservatives in their candied eggs. Candied eggs have to have.
No, like they have different laws. So like even their soda labels are different. Like they look different because it's completely a different product. It's healthy for you. They're not trying to kill you. Americans are
Ah,
fatter because we're putting shit in our food.
gay. Do they have less gay?
No, I think they have more. I think that's the problem.
Canadian? I didn't even know there was Canadians.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they all are.
Man.
Any of them that
I'm
don't have the
gay, eh? That must be fun. Are you gay, eh? Did you say A or gay? I said both.
both. Oh,
Hoser? Hoser's a whole new meaning.
oh God.
Yeah, I like it.
We
Oh
got somebody
no.
hating on
V
Canada.
agrees. V agrees Canada sucks. I've never been, but it's like here's the thing. You know it sucks because it's right there. And like no one really is drawn to it. No one's like a fucking like Mexicans are like, I can't wait to go to America. Canadians are like, I can't wait to go to America. Mexicans and us are never like, fucking Canada's right there, bro. It's like, let's just go. Nobody
We're
wants to
where
go.
the we're where the great northern migration stops.
The
Like
Great Northern
everybody,
Migration.
yeah, because all of Central America tries to get to Mexico, and Mexico's like, oh God, all these Central Americans are taking our jobs. Let us go to the U.S. And we're like, fuck that, we're not going to Canada.
Yeah, Mexico's becoming like superpower.
Let's not be too hateful.
No, go look up the numbers and the climb they've done in the last like 15 years. Mexico is fucking flying up, and more people, more businesses than ever are going to Mexico.
Okay, I that I can agree with. I thought you meant like superpower in the form of having nukes. That's all.
No, no,
Because the
not
U.S.
there, but more billionaires are going. They're bringing their businesses there, and Mexico is getting all. Yeah, he's right. Jeff is correct. They do have nukes now.
we got to do something about these nukes.
No, because their nukes will be awesome because they'll explode like fireworks and pinatas and stuff. So you know you're dying. Like, Dude, if they invade your home with dogs and a mariachi band, that would be awesome. This is the loudest
Yeah,
thing ever.
but the issue is right. China's got nukes, and the Chinese are making their nukes like they make all the products they send. It's going to be shitty quality, so they're going to shoot them at us and accidentally hit Mexico. Mexico is going to retaliate, and they also make shitty products. They're going to hit like India by accident or something, and the whole world's going to go to war because we rely on child labor to make nukes.
Yeah. I hope that sometime a Mexican has a sign that kids. You know, Mexicans don't spell English good, and they have their signs, and they always write like the wrong. Like one time, I went to like a flea market, and they were selling Blitz, and I'm like, "What's Blitz?" But it was belts, but it was Blitz. He's
Ooh,
like Blitz, and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what this is." So I hope they have that for like how they have live nude girls. So they put nuke. It's like live nude
oh,
girls. You just blowing up women. You go, they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I'm like, it's just regular nudes.
I'd go see some live nuke girls.
What did you see this week? What did you do? That was anything fun before you came back? How was the show?
The shows were great. Wednesday was like a new talent night. I did
Yeah, we talked about before about Wednesday, and you said it
and
wasn't bad.
then
You were the star of stars.
I mean always. And then
Yeah,
Friday it
I
was a
agree.
real show, but I did I was supposed to do 5, but I was doing well, so I didn't get the light until 8. My favorite
You didn't
part of the
get the
show
light, or you didn't acknowledge the light.
no, I didn't get the light until 8. Like they let me
Uh,
go and they're like you were doing well, so we let you go, which was always fun, but at one
or
point I was
maybe it was
like,
a
"Hey,
currency thing. It's like maybe 8 minutes Canadian is 5 minutes American.
that would make sense." But yeah, no, it was fun. I had a good show. At one point, I was like, "Yeah, you can say whatever you want because I'm leaving tomorrow. So you got a 2 minute window after the show to fight me." And nobody took me up on that.
Why? Yeah, why would that be the way you leave? You get 2 minutes to fight. They're like, we just enjoyed your comedy. We don't want to fight you.
At one, I called a guy. I was like, "Thanks for explaining what Woody Harrelson with AIDS would look like." And he was like, "Fuck
Ooh.
you," and I was like, "Fuck me. You got 2 minutes, buddy. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. We can hockey fight right after this."
Dude, speaking of AIDS, so like, you and I both. I probably do other people. I do. AIDS is a word I use as a silly thing a lot. It's way more than I should. I know it's okay now because now you can do a pill for it. But like, I'll do that all the time. Like, if someone's skinny, I'm like, "Oh, what do they got AIDS?" And if like strangers hear you, they're like, "Did you just fucking say that guy has AIDS?" Like, some people don't find AIDS as hilarious as you and I do. So I was doing
How
a
are people
bachelor.
with AIDS?
They hate, he
Yeah,
hated
not a
it.
fan.
No, the Boo AIDS, which is odd. But like, so I had to do a bachelor party on a Saturday. So I get there early, and I was like a surprise because like the bachelor himself, the best man, wasn't sure what to do. They didn't want strippers, whatever. So his father, the best man's father, reached out to the radio station I worked at, like, and asked some of the people, "Do you know any comedians?" So they sent it to me, negotiate it, whatever. And he's like, "We're just gonna have you pop in. Like, it'd be a surprise to have some kind of entertainment." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, whatever." They have like 30, 40 guys there. They all kind of work together, most of them. It was all diverse and fine. But I come in early and I just know the two people. And I go up to one guy and I go, "Is there anything I can't joke about?" Because sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, Fred's got cancer. It's not, what I mean, you don't mean to, but you like in a bachelor party scenario, you're not doing material, especially a group of guys that know each other. You're just roasting people. It's really what you're doing. You're seeing which one catches on the best, the one that makes everyone go, oh, and then you stay with that guy and you do that. You go with the bachelor a little. I usually stay away from the bachelor because he's already getting enough, and the father, the bride's there, all that. Whatever. So anyway, I asked, "Is there anything I can't talk about?" He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I go, like, does anyone have AIDS? The father and son look at me and go, "Why would somebody have AIDS?" And they're like, "Well, I just meant like a situation where something's up." He's like, "That's the worst situation." The guy looks at us. No, I go, "I don't know everyone, but I'm going to guarantee no one here has AIDS. If you need to talk about AIDS." I'm like, "Well, no, I don't need to talk about AIDS. I was just wondering." I don't know, or like cancer or the flu. He goes, those are lesser.
What?
I was like, my bad. My bad. I don't. I guess that isn't the example I should use.
Dude, I feel like that's Connecticut. That's Connecticut redneck coming out on you. I don't hang out with no AIDS fags.
That's not what I was saying.
None
I
of my
said,
friends would have HIV. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't shake the goddamn hands, let alone hang out with them.
well, by the way, I would have been the only red. I mean, there was like three white people in this. It was like I did have a line I used just being joking around.
Oh wait, oh wait, because that community even hates AIDS even more.
Which
Yeah,
community
none
do
of
you
my
think it
friends.
is?
Hispanic.
It somewhat. It was mixed. There was black. There was Hispanic. There was just Portuguese. I was just. I heard some people speaking Portuguese. So when I was talking, I go, "There's Portuguese people here, right?" And some cheered. I go, "Yeah, I know," because I heard your retarded version of Spanish being spoken, and everybody started cheering. And I was like, "Your version of Spanish is like Boston people speaking our language. It's like it's the same thing, but it's retarded as hell." And they're like, "Yeah." I do love a thing where I can go somewhere and go, "You're fat, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're retarded," and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Call me
you would
names more,
love
and they pay
Canada.
you. Yeah, they pay you, and you can leave."
What's fun about Canada is they don't hear some words, so you can say things, and then you just get a pop, like you're a kid in school again.
Now, did you open up for anybody that was of name value, or just a Canadian headliner?
Um, I don't remember. He wasn't like super famous, just a
Right, no,
local
if you
area
were,
guy.
that's the answer. I mean, you literally don't remember, so it wasn't like, "Oh, I went out there and it happened to be Rich Voss or something." You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was Canadian
Uh,
Rich Voss.
I did at one point round a corner, and Shea Rodriguez was just standing there, and I was able to be like, "Shay, what's up, buddy?" He's like, "Oh, hey, man," and clearly didn't recognize me. I was like, "We did Joey Ferraro's show together." He was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah," and just kept walking. He had no idea who I was, which was fun.
I don't know who Shea Rodriguez is either. So
He's popping. Big dude from Canada. He's got a big fro. Real funny guy. Very down,
white,
but
black.
I believe like Hispanic, black, but very funny. But it was just
Ooh.
funny that it was like, oh, cool. I saw somebody I know. Nope, I don't. And then Mark Harrison was there, which is funny because we both live like 5 minutes from each other in New York. So to be on the new talent show together in Toronto was fun.
Yeah, that's it's kind of cool, but also kind of sucks. Like I remember the first time I left Connecticut to do comedy, and I went to Bananas in New Jersey, Asbury Heights. I was hired to host there, like less than a year in. I mean, I left Connecticut to do open mic. The first time I got paid to leave Connecticut, and I'm like, oh, excited! Like I'm going to meet New Jersey comedians. And both the headliner and the middle were guys I'd worked with 2 weeks earlier in Connecticut. So it was just guys I already had seen. It was like nothing. It was just the same fucking stupid shit. So perfect. But yeah, I'm happy you're back. It's Monday, everybody. I hope everybody had a good St. Patrick's Day. I didn't really celebrate St. Patrick's type things, but some people did. Some people celebrated March Madness. Did you celebrate any of these things? Did you watch
I
any basketball this weekend? Did you
did
eat any
watch some
corned beef?
basketball. I I watched Penn State lose. I'm a big fan of their team because Mike Rhodes is the coach. He used to coach at Randolph Macon, where we would go for team camp every year, and he liked me while my head coach hated me. Like they played together in college. He'd always be like, "Yeah, get Bob more time," and he'd be like, "Bob fucking sucks," and I'd be sitting right there and hearing the whole conversation. So I was rooting for Mike Rhodes. Sorry they lost. St. Patrick's Day. You got an Italian guy who drove out the snakes in Ireland. Not a big one for me.
Yeah. And also, I don't think it's even real.
Oh, it's real,
They don't really, well, they don't celebrate it there.
right? Because they celebrate it every day when they don't have to worry about snakes.
Corpo, oh, like corporate holidays. I mean, they all are.
No,
They all are now. I
no,
mean, they have some have religious backings, but they become corporate. Christmas
no,
is
no.
more corporate than religious.
Bombero Day isn't fucking corporate.
What the fuck is Bombero Day?
It's May 31st.
Okay, you can say words to me. What is it? What do you do?
It's basically you go outside with a squirt gun and a hose and you spray people with it like you're a firefighter. Random women. The women wear white t-shirts. The men have water guns and Bombero Day.
Bobby, you see that? They're asking for more
I
volume on
turned
your
it
end.
up a
You
little
want
bit.
that fire. Nice. You're welcome, Aaron. See, on Bombero Day, you ask and you shall receive. That's
Yeah,
how we
so
celebrate Bombero Day.
so basically you go in and the women wear skin tight white shirts and this is only the hot women because the bombero is the head firefighter who goes around and decides if you're allowed to be wearing a white shirt or not.
I like that. That's also the Puerto Rican Day Parade, right?
No, very similar. Kind of like Portuguese is the retarded version of Spanish. Bombero Day is kind of like the less retarded version of the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Oh, the less. So it's
Mm-hmm.
less downs. Still has some hint of downs.
Have you seen the Puerto Rican Day Parade? There's no one going around being like, your clothes are too tight. You're dressed like a hot chick, but you're a fucking lineman.
Yeah, that's the great Geraldo joke about it is like the best. Where he's like, "There's nothing more positive females at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. It's like a woman's like, I can fit in any clothes. Don't tell me what I have to wear. I can be 300 pounds to wear a halter top, and I can get on the back of my boyfriend's Vespa and fucking make it do a wheelie. It's great. But I know what we're all waiting for. I understand. They're like, Pat, we don't care about Bobby's trip. We don't care about your summer party. You performed that. We don't care about Canada. We don't care about St. Patrick's Day. What we care about is, did Charlotte the Stingray have her fucking babies? And the answer, of course, is no. No, it did not have its fucking babies. But we did get one of our updates. You were supposed to get two a week now. We got a
Yeah.
Saturday update. So they
Oh
got us
yeah.
there. Research has shown that once a stingray gives birth, they do not raise or care over their offspring. Somebody just chimed in on it. Like I saw that quote right away. Someone's like, "Just so you guys know, you think it's gonna be a good time. The second these things are born, the stingray is not gonna give a fuck." So I kind of like that better because if you remember earlier, we were being told that a coffee shop was having a coffee based on Charlotte's natural surroundings. And we were like, wait, why coconut oils and chocolates and all that? And it's like, oh, cocoa, dark. This thing's gonna leave its kids.
I'm just happy because in Hendersonville, it'll be easier for the kids to understand why the mother doesn't pay attention to its pups either.
Right. But if you think about it, if it's darker skinned stingray, maybe its name is like, 'cause it sounds like a good like pimp or street name. Yo, that's Stingray. You know what I mean? You gonna sting and take off. Yo, Stingray. Maybe that's him with five Y's. The pups were born fully capable of eating, hunting, and swimming. So they need help. They come right out of the vagina, and they're just like they have knives and stuff. They're like ready to go. These pups aren't going to give a fuck. But that's the thing. This Charlotte. Some people are saying they're a little concerned because Charlotte has never had any in the last 9 years now. Has never had another stingray around her. Now four more are going to come out, and they know they're their children. But if they don't really care for their children, is the mother now going to be like, "What the fuck are these?" And then just start to fight her children. And are we going to get that live on TV?
I love the idea that a bunch of kids are gonna watch the pups be born, Charlotte freak out, and then murder all four of her babies.
Or no, murder three of the babies. But while she's murdering the third, a fourth one, the runt of the litter, rises to the top and kills the mother. And then he goes over and like tries to like revive the other three. And then we have like 300 Stingray style, the one that's the strongest, and now has to take over the tank. And he's alone with the sharks. And they play that song they used to do on Rick and Morty, like, ah! You just see like all twirling. It's just blood and stingrays, and it's just like going around. And now it's like the student becomes a teacher.
There can only be one.
Yeah, imagine that, and it's just Brenda Raver, the lady in charge. It's like, what are we doing? Charlotte's pregnancy is the first documented case of parthenogenesis in the capital of California around Stingray, so there is no data on how long the pregnancy will last before Charlotte gives birth. Because it's not regular pregnancy, they're like, yeah, we're guessing it's like regular pregnancy, but there was no jizz. I guess when you get jizz, you get a timer. It goes, ah, jizz timer. But without jizz, you have to say, I don't know when the. It's like when you don't have a rest. You know, people that don't use the timer on an oven, and they're like, oh, you're like, hey, you just put out 25 minutes. It says on the box. 25 minutes, put it in there. They're like, nah, I'm good. And I'm also not even going to put it in when it's heated. I'll put it in during the preheat. You're like, wait a minute, you don't even have a clue when this thing is cooked. You're worried about it? That's what happens, Charlotte the Stingray's vagina. They put it in there, no timer, no preheat, just went.
I mean, it does. So there's two areas of that where it's like somebody's an expert baker and they've been baking so long they know exactly how to do it. But the other half of that is could just be somebody that's retarded. Like
The
I make the
Stingray or the
cake.
person? Yeah.
I make the cake. So I think that's what we got going on with Charlotte. We're gonna have some very special needs stingrays.
Charlotte is under observation for 24/7 now. So far, they haven't seen any changes in Charlotte's eating, sleeping, or swimming patterns, and she is still interacting with divers and visitors. Divers. Now, weren't we told in another thing that this fish tank you could kneel in? Who's diving? It must have been. I'm assuming because the way the articles have been written like that, I think NPR focused on the early years. I think Brenda Raver's aquarium now is big enough where you can. Because I've seen pictures of like the Stingray, and it looks like a large aquarium. You know what I mean? That you and I could be
You've
in.
seen fucking stock photos. You have not
Oh
seen the
no!
actual Charlotte or the actual aquarium. I'm still not convinced this isn't a sink. There's a place in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's a pet shop that has stingrays you can pet, and literally, it's like a kiddie pool size thing.
Kitty, wait. You could go. You know a place in Pennsylvania that you and I could go to
Mm-hmm.
and visit. It's a kiddie pool. We can touch animals. And we
We
haven't gone there for a live POS mornings. Dude, we gotta do POS mornings across America, like they used to do,
oh
like Good Morning America and shit. We gotta do a thing where we find comedy shows at night. Where we go different places every morning. We do 5 shows live, and we go there like they're the worst things to go to.
I
Like,
love that.
like kiddie pool, dude. I want to do that so bad. Let's like we go somewhere like in Louisville, Kentucky. We find out that some fourth grade is having like their ballet recital. We just go and we do
We
live
are
play by play.
outside of the Louisville fourth grade presentation of The Wizard of Oz. If you look right now, you can see little Susie. She plays Dorothy. She lost her 2 front teeth last night. That's going to make the S's and T's pretty tough.
Looks like Toto just shit his pants. Why didn't they just get a dog? No one knows. Billy wanted to play Toto real
The
bad.
retarded kid needed a role, and all he does is fucking bark. And this is Louisville, so we just adapt.
For more on retarded kids, we kick it to Bill. Bill's like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck?" He's like, "Yes, you would think the retarded kid would play the lion or the scarecrow. Those are obvious retard things." But they went outside the retard box and they went to Toto. Retard. They call him Tartar. That's just Dorothy and
Sure,
Tartar.
there was some controversy around this play, Pat, as the African American kids were cast as the flying monkeys. The parents were not happy, but the kids seemed to enjoy the role. We
Wait a
did that
minute.
thing
First
where
of
you
all,
we did that
oh, I
thing
don't
where you
like
read
this.
the
This
chat.
guy's now predict. This guy AI. How does he know what we're gonna do?
He's a fan. He knew it was coming sooner or later. But I also
Yeah,
like
there's
that
gonna.
his Holocaust joke led to the no sell on my racist monkey thing. So
Sorry,
thanks,
I
thanks
just turned it
doubly,
up
Jeff.
like, God damn it, Jeff.
Glad you're here, buddy. Thanks.
Um, so Charlotte's mystery pregnancy. She's gained tens of thousands of followers on social media. Which, by the way, when I heard that, I was like, not millions, not millions. Maybe that's why when I do the hashtag and I'm talking about that, I'm thinking this is a good morning story. I guess most people are like, yeah, I don't
Dude, I
give a
told you
fuck.
I was in North Carolina and nobody heard of this fucking story. I think we are the ones touching these tens of thousands of people. I don't think it's getting out there.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I do like that we're the number one news source for Charlotte Stingray News. I think if we do merch, that's the first thing we do. POS mornings on the back, the number one source for Charlotte the Stingray News and
I agree with
Holocaust.
that.
It's like whoa, and AIDS.
And we don't take AIDS seriously.
So their numbers aren't great. Like TikTok currently has 600,000 followers. I mean, that's good. But TikTok is more about the likes than the follow. You know what I mean? Like how many likes are they getting on these
Yeah.
things? Another 386,000 on Instagram. And then they talk to people. They're like, I love how the stingray literally regenerated herself, and people think she's taking too long. So one fan wrote in the comments, I like how people are supporting it. Yo, this stingray come up on its own. Other people trying to tell they can't live this life. You live your life, stingray. Charlotte, you do you, baby girl. You don't need no man telling you when to have a baby. You have your baby when you have your baby.
INDEPENDENT. That's right, Miss Charlotte.
We just spelled the N word. What did you just do?
Independent.
Oh, oh, I thought you said I'm N.
Yeah, you really were hyper fixated on when I got to the N and independent.
I didn't think you said I. I thought you said I'm in. Like, oh no.
Nope.
Many
Talking
people have
now.
questioned. Many people have questions about this odd pregnancy. Is it advisable at some point to help her deliver or deliver surgically? I know it's not common to have this type of pregnancy. When it does become stressful or harmful for mama stingray to continue carrying the babies. So a lot of people are just coming in. This is what I like. The story's gotten to the point that now who cares about it on the internet aren't people who cared about aquatic life. It's now people who now feel like they are. You know the people that always feel like they are the authority, like the people during COVID who would like Here's what you have to do. It's like, well, they invented COVID yesterday. How do you know what you're supposed to do? Jill in Arkansas, she's like, I know all about COVID. Same thing. You're like, I know about stingray babies. Like some guy just said, listen, we don't even know when the pregnancy is supposed to happen because it's you know there's no dads, it's a different thing, parthenogenesis. But right away, people are like, you know, she uncomfortable. You got to rub her feet. You got to put her feet in some fucking ice cubes or something. You got to, you know, she needs to go to Shoney's and have some grilled cheese or something. That make me feel good when I'm pregnant.
Oh my god! And like, who gives a shit? If it was a normal stingray, people wouldn't be this hyped. Like if it was a normal stingray pregnancy at an aquarium, there'd be like a 5 minute news story. That'd be it. But it's because it's this fake Jesus stingray.
You know what it's like? It's like this stingray is what's her name, Hannah Gatsby, and it's like so it's just a regular thing that's mediocre at best and no one gives a fuck about. But and then when you first gave a fuck when you first heard about it, you're like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to. Everyone's saying I'm supposed to give a fuck about this, and then you're like, well, yeah, but it wasn't good. You're just complaining. My life's tough. Like, where's the funny? And then you're like, well, what do you do? So then it starts doing like trying to do like fun things with the sharks. And you're like, oh, you're a hack. And then there's no, so then finally Charlotte's like, what if I bring other things that are kind of like me to the table and we all do a show together? And everyone's like, you know what? I don't even get this. I know you're telling me that you're supposed to be special and different, but you're not even just the same. You're just kind of like a freak, and I don't want to hear what you have to say.
You ready for this, Jeff? We should take all those special people, put them in one room, and just keep them there. They could have their own little city, their own little theaters. It'll be like a nice little area of town. We'll go, that's the special people's part of town. We'll give them a nice little wristband so we can all identify them. It'll be a bright yellow star.
I don't know if you've seen any. I saw a clip on YouTube where Anthony Cumia shared his take on what you call it, the Hannah Gatsby thing. And I don't think he's gonna watch the special. That's all I'm gonna say.
I
You can go check out the clip. It was a. I haven't seen Anthony do one of the Anthony rants in a while. It was
That's a
him
good
now
one.
being where he is. It wasn't like the super heightened. There was no one else to go back and forth with, but still one of his like he using clips and everything. But it was Anthony being Anthony and not giving a crap about what you could cancel or not tell him what to say things because that's his wheelhouse. And he was breaking down the trailer for this. So every time they break out a new like transfer, he's like, "What the fuck are they even talking about?" He's like, look at this fat bitch. Like, so the lady would be like, it's real hard trying to live life, looking like a guy, but being a girl or whatever. And he pause it and go, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. It's like, okay, I'll watch that trailer. If they had Anthony Cumia host the Hannah Gatsby and Friends show, that's the show I would go watch. He goes up, he talks shit about them. Then they come up one at a time, they do their act, then he goes up and critiques the act and shit. I would watch that. Trans Tanikumi show.
That would be good.
Tracks. It's an attack. You just put a TR, big TR, ACS. There you go. You got it. But yeah, so with the updates we're getting, we're not even really getting updates. Now we're literally getting updates on here's what some people said on Instagram and Facebook. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it me for continuously wanting the world to care about Charlotte the Stingray? Like I said, I want to be the number one informant on this. I want everyone to look at all their Stingray news from me. And the fact that other people are writing articles makes me feel like you and I need a journalist. We need a man on the street writing blogs about it, so we have someone else going. But we don't have that in the budget yet to get the man on the street out there. And we could have because you made connections out there. But like you said, no one in North Carolina even cares. So what are we going to do? So is it me? Is it us? Is it Charlotte Stingray for not having the baby yet? I don't care what they say about science and things like that. You have that baby, Charlotte, when we fucking tell you to have that baby. We need our entertainment. You realize it's going to be nice out soon? This was a nice story for when it was cold. When it gets nice out, we can go outside. Don't give a fuck about your stupid vagina. Nobody cares at all. This is the
It's the
dumb
real
pups. We're
stingrays.
not coming out yet. Yeah, the dumb pups. Nobody cares about them at all. Is it the people on Instagram giving out advice to a stingray? They're writing things to a stingray, like a stingray has the internet or a phone and can read it. Like they're telling, yes, you're probably going, Pat. They know they're not talking to this stingray. They're talking to the people, Brenda Raymer, the people that work at Echo Aquarium. Okay, fine. So these people are saying, hey, you know how you an aquatic specialist, you know how you like Jacques Cousteau and shit. Well, I'm Brenda from Jersey, and I'm going to tell you how to live your life and take care of stingrays. Or is it just the fact that people, once this happens, will just be sitting there waiting for adorable photos, but all they're going to see is the bloody massacre of four fucking pups rise up against their captive mother who kept them in there and kick her ass? Or now, or is it? Do you think Charlotte, when they get the babies, will now, because adapting in that way, will now right away turn to these already trained hunters and killers, which we just heard? They're born ready to swim and hunt. Now it's five. It used to fight you sharks. It was 8-on-1, but now it's five stingrays on eight sharks. Eight sharks who don't fuck with anybody. All they see is sharks. They don't know what's up. You sting that shark, they're fucked. Are we gonna get a sharks versus jets type scenario?
Ooh, Sharks versus Braves.
Yeah.
I like that. My
Who's a
my
piece of
piece of
shit?
sh- my piece of shit's LeBron James.
Oh boy.
Here's why.
Why?
LeBron, right, won with the Heat, won with the Cavs, and then started to build for the future. And much like Charlotte, he found himself a lone stingray in a tank full of sharks. So what did he do? He got Bronny Jr. He cloned himself, made Bronny Jr. Got him to go to USC's, getting him all ready to make it to the NBA, and basically did the same thing. So now the animal kingdom is learning from the human kingdom and doing the exact same thing. Charlotte was like, how do I get over on these sharks? I'm all by myself. Oh, I'll clone myself just like LeBron James, the king, and then maybe we'll win a championship. However, Charlotte should have learned from LeBron that the clone's a shittier version. Nobody would really acknowledge it if it wasn't for the original Stingray all along. So for me, LeBron James. King James is the piece of shit in this story.
But that's not his fault that Bronny stinks.
It is. You're the greatest basketball player of all time. You analyze your kid and go, hey, play baseball. Otherwise, people are going to keep making this comparison. There's a
Yeah,
reason
but
I'm not a
like,
doctor. I didn't want to be the shitty Dr. Bobby Tamburo.
but if that being said, then wouldn't Michael Jordan be the piece of shit? Because Michael Jordan's kids should have been women. They didn't even get a chance to go to him. I think they played some shit college. Like
Yeah, and then
Michael
Jordan
Jordan was
pulled him
so
aside
bad.
and was like, you don't have it. Here's what I need you to do. Go fuck Scottie Pippen's ex. That's how you become.
No, and I like that part they're doing there. They're fucking over his enemies. That's a good time. What I'm saying is Jordan's the piece of shit because he did that. Because if he had, it's always a LeBron Michael comparison. So if Michael just got one of those kids with the nepotism that LeBron is using to get them to get in there, then LeBron would have said, "Oh, Michael already did this, so we don't have to deal with fucking Bronny. We're getting Bronny because Michael didn't fucking do what he was supposed to do and force his kid in."
That's
Like
a good
Magic,
point.
Magic couldn't do that because his kid came out goofier than Magic at age. Like there was Magic and Dwayne Wade's kids can't play in the NBA because
Dwayne
they're on
Wade.
Hannah Gatsby special.
I thought Dwayne Wade's kid was Caitlin Clark. I thought that's what was going on there.
I don't think that's how that works. Caitlin Clark, by the way, quite upset that how the seeding they got in the women's tournament. And the people are like, "Hey, you played the women's tournament. Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, just win.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard seed. Yeah, you're. I think you're gonna be fine in the first two rounds when you get to play at home because in women's basketball, there aren't regions that care that much until you get to the final four. So they don't let you go all different areas. The first two rounds, you make it. You're the home team. People just go to your shit state now.
That's actually kind of sicker. All the people who are going to be flying into Iowa to watch Caitlin Clark play, they won't know how to handle it.
Yeah, but okay. So you are these young girls, and you fucking fought and clawed and win like the Atlantic 10 championship or something. Like, you're like Rhode Island. I didn't see you there playing in the bracket, but then you're like, all right, you have to go to where the greatest women's player of all time is in her home place where she plays all the time in practices. And, like, put them on a neutral floor. March Madness is supposed to be about the opportunity of the Cinderella story and all that stuff. That's why you set the bracket up. When you put them in their home dungeon, you can't do that.
No, I agree, but you're missing the point. If I was like one of these young girls, my only goal would be to jersey swap with Caitlin Clark. And honestly, Pat, I think there's a real need for women to do that in sports. We see it with men all the time after the game. They take their shirt off, trade it with the opposing team. Why don't women do that?
I think they do, actually. We just don't care because it's not on TV. I literally think they do. No one is watching. We don't see it.
I'm just saying if they showed just that, just the jersey swap part, it would have higher ratings than the rest of the game.
No, they wouldn't because I know what you're saying. But if you remember when we first cared about women's World Cup soccer, and
Mm-hmm.
there was that woman, what was her name, Brandy Chastain, and she became famous because she slid down, she pulled her shirt up, and everyone's like, "Oh, Lesbo sports bra titties." Nobody cared.
I mean,
They're
maybe
like,
you
"Oh,
didn't
it's gonna
care.
be hot, it's gonna be hot, it's gonna be hot." It's like that's a guy, that's a
Some of
fella.
us caught our first beat to that, Pat. So speak for yourself.
Brandy Chastain.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
them
her name.
them
I
titties
think
ain't
that's somebody
Chastain,
else.
Pat. Them titties ain't Chastain.
They ain't brand D's. Those are like brand A's at most.
Yeah, fucking hot athletic titties.
Man. So yeah, Charlotte isn't the piece of shit. Obviously, the
You don't
piece
think
of shit
LeBron is
is
either?
no. I like the piece of shit is us because we've even gotten tired of the Charlotte Stingray news so much that we just went into a women's college basketball LeBron James debate in the middle of our Charlotte Stingray thing because we're like, yeah, we don't give a fuck.
It's
Oh,
time
and
to
then everyone's like, who's the guest? There's no guest today. We figure we'll give people the Monday off and we'll have some fun. Bobby and I are just getting back into like it was a week. Bobby was traveling around. I figured it'd be easier not to walk someone in. But don't worry, what wonderful guests Wednesday and Friday, whatever the fuck's going on. But Bobby, what you got? A story for us?
Yeah, you want to stick with sports since we kind of got into that a little bit?
Yeah, we can't. And then you got yours. I got one. So we'll just do sports stuff. You don't like sports. Fucking walk away.
Don't worry. Much like most of my stories, mine isn't just sports. There's a lot more to discuss here. So, in
Believe
the
it.
latest episode of As the MLB Turns, Trevor Bauer, our Cy Young winning pitcher turned legal drama lead, has finally settled his off field scuffle with accuser Lindsey Hill. Bauer, who's been dodging more allegations than baseball, revealed texts that he claims show Hill was playing extortion ball. Meanwhile, Hill's swinging back, saying Bauer's cherry picking texts like they're low hanging curveballs. With both sides dropping their lawsuits faster than a batter drops his bat after a home run, they're ready to move on. Bauer's back on the mound, but this time in Japan, playing for the Asian Breeze. Probably hoping the only thing
Wait,
he'll be
the
striking
Asian
out
what?
Breeze.
Oh, like
B
win.
R BREEZE. Yeah. No,
I
no,
thought
I
it was
wasn't doing so good.
BREEDS. I was like the breeds. I
That
was
would
like,
be
holy
perfect for
shit.
Bauer. Uh, so that was one of my AI's versions of this story. But basically, what happened is Bauer's back. You know the Trevor Bauer story, former Cy Young
Yes.
winner, allegedly had some consensual sex with a woman, and then got banned from baseball because of it. Now he's back. There's a team in Japan you can pay to play for, and like get a chance to play against MLB so scouts see you. He paid to join the Asian Breeze just in time to go against his former team, the Dodgers, where he struck out 4 of his 12 batters. He would tell the batters what pitch was coming and then strike them out anyway. And at one point, even went to the audience, like that was watching, was like, "What do you want me to throw? Curve? All right, here it comes." Uh, Good news,
They all went.
Bauer's throwing.
That's what
They all
Japanese
do.
people do when they watch baseball. They
Oh, he.
call me the breeze. I keep rolling down the road. Oh, they love that song.
Oh, he must be best at bowing. He the bower.
Oh, he's so good. You don't
He
have to
did.
kill himself after performance.
He was throwing 99, which is fucking fast, but no
Yeah, so
scouts
he.
were there.
Oh,
Like nobody showed up. And here's the part of the story nobody's talking about. The reason he's not in baseball has nothing to do with the woman and alleging things. It has everything to do with the fact that for 2 years he went, everybody's using this sticky stuff. If I was using the sticky stuff, these are what my numbers would be. And then the next year he went out and threw those exact numbers and won the Cy Young and basically using sticky stuff. Like, so that's what's really going on here. Who's the piece of shit in the story, Pat? Is it Trevor Bauer for I don't know what he could have done wrong. Is it the MLB for blackballing this guy and saying it's for one thing when it's clearly for something else? Is it the woman? You knew what you signed up for. We've seen the text. Stop ruining the homie's career. Pat, we'll kick it to you first. Who's the piece of shit
well,
in this story?
it's hard because there's a lot of things that could lead to piece of shits in this story. And first of all, it said I know AI wrote it, but calling them the Asian breeze is insane because that's covering a continent. You really got to get at least to a country. You know, the Asian breeze is like is it coming from India? There's all kinds of things in Asia. You don't know what breeze, and that's a stinkier breeze depending on where it's coming from. So you want to make sure that you've got a good breeze. Is that breeze allowed to go from North Korea to South Korea? What kind of breeze? What's the limits on the breeze? You said allegedly consent, and I've never heard that phrasing before. He allegedly had consensual sex. Usually, it's allegedly forced her. You're like, I can't confirm that he got consent, but there's rumors out there he might have been allowed to have sex with her.
That's what's going on here, man. Allegedly he's alleging he had consensual sex.
He's
He's
alleging,
alleging
right? Just
he
to be fair.
beat the shit
So,
out of her. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, yeah. I mean, like, we're playing around with it, but like Trevor Bauer was accused of some really bad shit. Like yeah, it wouldn't help a baseball team, no matter how good he is, to have that in their locker room. It just wouldn't. We know that. But it's not Trevor Bauer because Trevor Bauer, like everyone else, yes, he went to a different country for it, but America is all about second chances. The guy did his thing, he lost his job, all these are there, and now he's just trying to do it again. This happened with drug addict player when Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden when they both got out of the league after they were like superstars with the Mets and then all the cocaine and all the issues and everything was happening, and they basically fell out of Major League Baseball for a little bit before they got their resurrection with the Yankees. And people took a second chance and they cleaned themselves up and won World Series. They were assigned to minor leagues and nobody wanted to pick them up. There was a independent minor league baseball team in New Haven, Connecticut when I was in college, and they were called the New Haven Ravens. And they played right in the little baseball stadium that the Yale baseball team plays at. It only holds like 1,500, whatever it is. And we would go. My buddy, one of the guys who played my rugby team, was their assistant general manager. Now that sounds like a good term when you're playing in the major leagues, but when you're playing in the minor leagues, that's just cowboy and like equipment man. You're everything. You're assisting. The general manager is like making sure everything in the stadium's happening. It's independent people being signed. So our buddy would just be able to get us tickets, and he would tell us, he's like, dude, we just got Dwight Gooden on our team. Like, what? He's like, yeah, Doc Gooden is here. So, like, he's like, we heard that Strawberry might be coming. Because you guys got to come to some young tickets. Dwight Gooden's about to face young kids. And he's clean now. He's found God. He's trying to prove a point. So we're like, holy shit. I want to see Dwight Gooden throwing 90, 95 against these kids. But he came home one day and he goes, Dwight Gooden's not in good shape yet. Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I have to go down to the locker room. And when Dwight Gooden's not playing, he just sits in the locker. He doesn't go to the dugout. He sits in the locker room, butt naked, with his huge beer belly out, smoking cigarettes, playing cards with the other like guys who work there while the games are. His guts out. You can see everything hanging out of the top. And he's like, oh, it's Dwight Gooden because he's signing autographs for people. So I'm saying is Trevor Bauer's trying to do what Dwight Gooden was doing, but at least going, hey, let me go to another country, not be the guy who's in New Haven, Connecticut, showing his dick to rugby players. Let me be the guy who's out there trying to show myself. So it's not his fault in that way at all. It's Gaylord Perry. You familiar with baseball player Gaylord Perry?
No, I can't say I am.
Gaylord Perry is, put it this way, if you were playing a trivia game where they said, name a player who's played for more teams than anybody in the history of baseball, Gaylord Perry would probably be your guy. Gaylord Perry was a journeyman of a pitcher in the Hall of Fame as well. Tons of wins and stuff like that, but went all over the place. Gaylord Perry was the first stick'em guy, the first spitball guy. He was the guy that invented all these tricks and where
Okay,
they
yeah,
had to
yeah, yeah.
make rules. Vaseline on the hat, all that shit. And so they kept putting on different teams, and people would be like, fuck this. But like, he would be like, no, 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 I'm not doing it. And then he find a new way to cheat. He wasn't only the spitball guy. When they couldn't do the spitball, he was the emery board guy that was able to like fire off the ball and do the thing. He was the reason why you can't dig hard into the mound anymore. Because he put a different hole there so you get different lean, so you could push off differently. Have different. He was the master of cheating and doing everything. And no matter what, when I was a kid and I was playing baseball, there's two forms. You're a young kid growing up and you're watching Barry Bonds hit dingers, but you find out he's cheating, but you're still like, oh, Sosa, oh, he's cheating. Oh, McGuire, he's cheating. But then you find the guy that's not. Like, later on, Mike Trout. Okay, there's an athlete. Like, well, I want to be like him. Or you're the guy who's like, I like the guy who's taking chances and cheating at a sport when he's getting paid, and there's no payoff. Like Pete Rose at least was gambling. Pete Rose can say he didn't gamble on his own team, but Pete Rose was going for a payoff. Gambling addiction. Gaylord Perry was just cheating, and if he didn't cheat, he was a very good pitcher, like one of the top pitchers in the league every year. Did not need to cheat, had the skills to do it. It was like, fuck it, I'd rather fuck with these guys than do this. And I think the John Rockers of the world, the the Trevor Bauers of the world, see that and go, you know what? So sometimes people play video games and when they first learn the game. They play it at the easy level. But then some idiots right away, without even knowing the game, just go, I'm going at like fucking
I'm going
insano mode.
hard. Yeah.
And that's what they do. So Trevor Bauer's like, listen, I'm already in insano mode. I'm already in America. I'm ostracized. I'm a wife beater, this and that, whatever. So I'm going to go to Japan, put myself in a weird spot, challenge my other guys, do these crazy, and prove that I don't need that stuff to cheat. But it'd be hilarious if they did find out that he was cheating. Like if he was
Oh
still
yeah.
doing all the shit and using the stick and all that. So I think the piece of shit is anyone who taught us that cheating is cool. Like the Black Sox, like, all the cool stories come out of baseball are those things. The guys who invented greenies, which ended up being uppers and things like that. But
Yeah.
back in baseball, they used to all take greenies. They were just doing smelling salts. They were doing all kinds of. They were just doing straight caffeine, anything they could to get an edge on people. Baseball's always been about cheating and the edge. And Gaylord Perry to me is the Mount Rushmore of the cheating people. So that's who it is. It's not Trevor Bauer. It's not his wife for also saying, "Hey, don't hit me." Like, you should always say, "Hey, don't hit me."
I mean, I think I was more of a Gaylord Perry type because, like, face offs in lacrosse, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I would cut the padding out of my shoulder pads in football so I could be lighter off the line and have less for people to grab. Wouldn't wear knee pads. So I'm a fan of Gaylord Perry. But for me, I think you missed a boat here, Pat, with who the piece of shit is.
The Asian boat.
The Asian banana boat. And
Oh, you
speaking of,
missed boat. You got to get on board. The breeze pushed the sail.
they're all just sitting there going,
Whew. Whew.
but
Karate Kid for you young people.
for me, the piece of shit is the Savannah Bananas.
Oh, fuck that team. Dude, fuck that team. Fuck that. Fuck Harlem Globetrotters baseball. Fuck all those videos. Fuck everyone thinks it's cool. You're not going to make baseball fucking cool. Fucking stop. I like baseball. But dribbling it through your legs and throwing it to first base, fuck off. I fucking hate this Savannah Bananas
Right.
so fucking much.
And what's missing from that is a real villain because it's basically like you said, like the Harlem Globetrotters. You don't really, at a certain point, you start feeling bad
Fucking.
for the Washington Generals. You're like, come on, man, get a win. Make Bauer the starting pitcher for the opposing team. Let him walk in, talk shit. After the third inning, he does a live sexcapade at the mound. Just really get the audience to hate him. Oh, look who's sitting in seat number 392 in section EEC. You've won our get fucked by Bauer at halftime contest. And it's a random woman who just goes down on the field and he beats the shit out of her after the third inning. And then the fans really hate Bauer. And so they start really rooting for the Bananas.
I mean, first of all, worst promotion I've ever heard. Let's put that out
Well, you
there.
didn't even hear it.
Second of all,
just
though,
Trevor. He's looking through the stands, pointing, and he's like, it's section 390.
I mean, awful promotion, but you got to change the name for randomly to get fucked by Trevor. You got to have a more fun name. Like, Trevor's going to give her the Savannah Banana treatment or something like that. That's why when you said that, I'm like, Trevor should be on the Savannah Banana. The Savannah Banana should be picking up all the people that can do tricks. And he does tricks. You know what I mean? He can do
Oh,
fucked up
yeah.
shit with all that stuff. They should have him. They should have Jim Abbott if he didn't die. I think he might have died, but the guy with one arm played for a while. They should have all people that have goofy shit. You know what I mean? Do
And
you remember Vince Coleman?
no,
Do you remember who Vince Coleman was?
no. I went
Vince
to a
Coleman
college with
was
Vince Coleman.
there wasn't that one, but Vince Coleman in the early '80s, like 84, 85, was a young like the next after Ricky Henderson, the next great base stealer in baseball, and he played for the St. Louis Cardinals. Wasn't really a great hitter, but just fly switch hitter would crouch down the thing. If he got on base, he was stealing two bases. Vince Coleman was incredibly athletic, good defensive player too. Could hit a little bit, but nothing great. But on teams where everybody could slap the ball, they could play that small ball. He got on base. Tommy Herr, Willie McGee, Terry Pendleton would all be able to move everyone over. They were very tough to deal with. But when Vince like got a little bit older, whatever, and started like getting a lot of money and going like feeling himself a little bit, he started to do like crazy things. And then he got when he was a free agent, he signed with the Mets, and he was known for with the Mets. Him, Roger McDowell, people like that. They would all, when on their days off, whatever, would hang out in the dugout, and they would just play poker, and then sometimes during the middle of the game, just light off fireworks at people. Like they were like the masters of the hot foot, but literally blowing shit up getting drunk during game. If they weren't gonna play, they would play poker. Like if the fourth inning, you could find them hammered and drunk and great. Like that, they need to sign him. You need Vince Coleman, Trevor Bauer. You need like anyone who has a Babe Ruth baseball, like a John Daly. Those are the guys I want on the team playing the Savannah Bananas. Or you do the Savannah Bananas versus like like the movie The Longest Yard, where you have like the criminal, like you were saying, like all criminal baseball guys. You take McGuire, Bonds, all the guys who aren't allowed to be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose coaches them. You put them all together and have them play like an evil, sinister thing. You know what they don't play with? Asians.
Well, I was thinking since it's Women's Month, you take it a step further and you just get like a team of Bauer, Ray Rice, anybody who's ever been alleged to Deshaun Watson, and you field a team and you're
That team's full of hitters.
Yeah, exactly.
Their slugging percentage. The Silver Slugger Award is a whole different fucking award.
And they should like at in between innings just bring one woman down.
Yes, I remember this story. This is a kid asked Vince for an autograph. Vince threw a pack of boom booms out. He would just have fireworks and firecrackers with it all. Yeah, that's what will blow you up,
dude.
Dude, you know who else should be on that team? If you guys ever want to have fun and look stuff up, wait. Now we're just shitting on our sound. Bobby, more volume. Bobby, Pat, you sound like you're recording in the bathroom with that mic, just trying to help you. You are, but it's not helping during the show. I'm not going to be able to go like, yeah, different mic. We'll do it afterward, but I appreciate that. You're typing like you used to work in the library, like capitalization on things for emphasis and things like that. So we appreciate how you're showing your passion through there, Aaron. And he's TM'd, or he's R'd and TM'd. He's both. You can't sell bootleg Aarons. You got to just have Aaron as is. You can't have that. I want a TM and an R. You're being more R than TM right now, though. But yeah, I was just thinking, there was a baseball player named Luis Polonia. Look him up. He was fun because he was playing for the Tigers and the Yankees, and then all of a sudden he couldn't play for the Yankees for a little bit because there was a report that he might have been sleeping with a girl who was 15. He was like 33, and he was just. Then about 2 weeks later, they said, "Oh, he's back from dealing with his issues. He's back to play left field for the Yankees." It's like, wait, what? He just slept with kids, and now he's just back. They're like, well, to be fair, and I remember watching. This is doing like Bill White. It was the announcer and Phil Rizzuto for the Yankees. They're like, well, in where he's from, it's allowed. It's like, no, it's not allowed where he's from. It's just the cops don't fucking save the children where he's from.
Wasn't that the Rob Lowe defense?
I think, yeah. I think most people who sleep with kids have the same defense. It's not my fault. It wasn't me.
He just got a pass.
Yeah.
My man fucked a 14-year-old on camera. He made child porn, and he's just, hey, I'm here on Parks and Rec, everybody. You forget about that kid I fucked.
Yeah. Hey, how crazy was I in fucking Tommy Boy?
Yeah.
Wasn't I super fun in Tommy Boy? I was also inside that Tommy girl the other day, but now I'm on Tommy Boy. Yeah. Don't. This is the way we're looking, Bobby. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Then I'll do that.
You remember me? I was part of the Pussy Posse. My nickname was Young Pussy.
Now, at the 55-minute mark, we always do our quick. Hey, everyone! Don't fuck kids. That's what we're doing on Mondays.
We've had some fun here on the POS show, but it's time to talk about something real. You shouldn't fuck
the real
kids.
issue. Yeah, you should always have alleged consent. just like Trevor Bauer. Alleged consent is almost like consent. Is alleged consent just consent that hasn't had made a friend yet? Isn't that the old saying?
Your Honor, my client.
It feels like a Willy Wonka song.
Your Honor, my client's alleged consent.
All of a sudden, he says that. He goes, "Wait, what is he doing?" And someone in the jury goes, "Alleged consent." I was like, "Alleged consent." Alleged consent. You can just fuck a girl in a tent as long as you have alleged consent.
And she's over the age of consent. That's like the final.
Your chance to go to jail is like 15%. Is alleged consent. Alleged consent.
There we go.
That girl's like, "Where my hymen went?" Alleged consent. Alleged consent. But I gave up fucking girls for Lent. Alleged consent. Alleged consent. I'd rather fuck this girl than see that play called Rent. Alleged consent.
Oh.
Alleged consent.
That's how you get HIV.
HIV's like your body has a dent. Alleged consent. Alleged consent.
Pat, why don't you give your plugs real quick? I'm gonna pee fast.
I will plug. Okay, we're not done yet, but yes. Please, first of all, subscribe. We appreciate everybody. We've been climbing in the last. We've got a couple hundred new followers in the last month or two. So we really appreciate all you guys jumping on. We're doing these shows Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, the morning show. We've been trying to be consistent with the Tuesday 8 p.m. Our schedule has been a little weird. But we also do the nighttime show as well. Please, if you can now, hit the like, subscribe, let people know about the show being on the mornings. We watch everyone who's watching it either through Bobby's Twitter, Bobby's Instagram, or our my YouTube page. We appreciate you guys all watching. This weekend, what do I got going on? I got Thursday night. I'm at Comics at Mohegan Sun. I'll be there performing at 10 o'clock, and then on this weekend I got private shows other than there. But I'll have my album recording. I'll have links and dates and stuff coming up pretty soon, probably by the beginning of the summer for everyone to be buying tickets for that. Bobby, why don't you plug your stuff quick and then we'll get to the next story.
Make sure you're checking out the POS YouTube. Get over to the Patreon. We'll start getting that active again real soon. I am this weekend with Earl David Reed. I believe I'm at a winery in northern PA Friday, and then Saturday I am at the Allenberry Theater. That's a big one. Come on out. It'll be a lot of fun. The Allenberry Theater this Saturday. Also, check out the Davy Mack universe. We're doing the Davy Mack sports program every weekend. We're doing a new fun show called Tales from the Satellite, where we break down stories from Dave's time on satellite. We found ourselves in the midst of the Ryder saga, but we've got a lot of fun stuff going on. Oh, and Pat, would you look at that comment? We got a new Patreon now.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We got pretty soon we're going to be doing with the morning shows a week. We'll be doing them live on here, but some of the morning shows aren't going to stay here. So part of the Patreon thing will be that only one, I think probably only one of them a week will stay on, and then the other two will only have access here on Patreon. And then I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that maybe the POS evening one might be a exclusive Patreon thing we start doing pretty soon. Same thing with the
Yeah.
live and then also being there. So you can watching it live, everyone can see it, but they're moving it over so you only get access to it later there. Because we want to
The
start
old
beefing that up a little bit. Thank you, Aaron.
the old gas digital move. Watch it live for
Right.
free or pay for it on demand.
Now, were you saying Allen Berry? When you were saying that, is that a town or is it is it a name? The Allen Berry Theater.
One word, Allenberry. It's a last name. In York, I
And
believe.
hold on.
Better with is that when I hooked up headphones, I didn't how to hook up my microphone to it, so I was talking through the headphones there. So
This
thank
sounds
you
a little bit better now.
for the comments. Thanks for making me sad. But we're good there. Bobby, should we do more sports or should we go away from sports for a minute and then come back to sports? Do you think we're doing too much sports? Even though that wasn't really sports, that was more domestic violence.
I would say let's slow way away from sports. If we could keep on the domestic
Oh,
violence,
now I
though,
can't
that
hear
would
you
be
at
good.
all, but that's probably just me. There you go. Yeah, that was real soft. All right, so get away from sports for a minute.
Yeah, I was thinking let's get away from it, but if we could stick
There we
with
are.
domestic violence, that would be cool.
No, you know what? My story doesn't have that one. Doesn't have domestic violence. I'll get back to that. Oh, okay. So, are you familiar? Did you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Oh yeah,
Think you for real?
yeah.
Like you watched it like on purpose, or like you were traveling and it happened to be on?
I've watched it as it was coming out. I was a big fan.
Did you enjoy How I Met Your Mother?
No,
But you watched
No.
it as it came out.
it patterned a series of behaviors that led me to be a very unhappy individual. Like there are so
Did
many
that lead you to
lessons in
also
that.
watch? Oh, sorry. Also
No,
watch
like-
How I Met Your Father.
No, it didn't. Basically, the idea of How I Met Your Mother is a dude fell in love with a chick and never got over it, had kids with his actual wife, and then spent the entire 9 seasons telling his kids how he was still in love with their Aunt Robin. That's what How I Met Your Mother was. It's not a healthy pattern.
Right, but you didn't know that while watching, right? It was like They called it that, but I guess it was a regular sitcom. And once in a while, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, the story's coming from this point of view." I think you almost just like forgot that was the thing,
Going into
right?
season 8, when the mother hadn't even been injured, like the theory, I was like, oh boy, they're not going to wrap this up well. Like initially, the first episode, it was set up like this is how I met your mom, and then it was Robin, and then, yeah, I guess you're right. Became just a sitcom.
Because
I'm not sure why.
one of the stars of that show, Josh Radnor, recently got
Mhm.
married, and he married a psychologist in Brooklyn named Jordana Jacobs. And, and they got married while outdoors in like feet of snow, and they had all their guests have to be there freezing in the cold, but they didn't notice because they were on fucking mushrooms. They they decided they were just gonna do mad mushrooms. They said, while exploring the far reaches of the continent, and later said, "I do" in a winter storm. So the storm's happening. They didn't cancel. Like it's cool, but everyone else like, no, it's fucking frozen. This isn't cool. The How I Met My Mother guy. Like first of all, I'd be mad if I went to the How I Met My Mother wedding and it wasn't band camp, or it wasn't the guy who's like in like the what you call it, Judd Apatow movies. Like none of the fun people.
No, it's the fucking
No Doog.
no Marshall.
What's your take on Doogie Howser, Neil Patrick Harris? Well, you are what's you're 30 or you're 31? What's your age?
31.
31. So out of the
Yeah.
31-year-old, when I say Neil Patrick Harris, do you think of him as Barney, or do you don't think of him as Doogie because you weren't a Doogie person?
I mean, my parents would go back and watch old reruns of Doogie Howser, but for me, he's Barney.
Right. That's
Actually,
like when my kids know Ed O'Neill as what's his name from Modern Family, and I know him as Al Bundy. So you can be iconic more than one, which is kind of cool when you can do that kind of thing. It is kind of crazy that Neil Patrick Harris was like the swinging ladies man when he's the gayest man in the history of the universe on that TV show, which is kind of horseshit. But also, I don't like that they keep doing that. Now that I'm learning that this guy just does mushrooms in a winter wedding and he marries a psychologist, which is also crazy. This guy could have been on mushrooms the entire time and they didn't lean in. They could have had an episode where Barney was gay and this guy was on mushrooms and they could have just been themselves. I would have watched the show. I never watched it. I've seen like clips and things, but I've never watched the show.
In psychology, there's the great question of nature versus nurture. Like, are you born gay, or is it things that happen to you throughout your life that make you such? I think Neil Patrick Harris is Hollywood fucked this young boy gay and made him into that, and they made him a ladies' man to cover up for it.
Yeah, I grew up watching Doogie Howser, and that was a weird. Even when it came out, you're like, what the fuck is this? And like he was a doctor, like he had to go to school, but then he'd also have to like go do his rounds and practices. And like everyone was kind of mean to him. Like at school, they're kind of like, you're a fucking nerd. And at the hospital, like, you're a boy. Like so, his only friend was this like goofball, super stereotypical Guido Italian kid, like Vinny Boombatz or some shit.
Vinny,
whatever.
yep.
And he would come in through the fucking window. They made him like a criminal. So like Doogie's one friend was this Italian who was sneaky. He would just come in, and then Doogie would have like life lessons. It's like, hey, don't be Italian or something. You're like, wait, is that the lesson? Don't be Italian. But
And
anyway,
then wasn't he the older brother on Malcolm in the Middle?
no, he looked like that guy. That wasn't him.
How pissed is that guy? Everybody just thinks he's gay. Damn, Neil Patrick Harris looks like shit.
Because that guy also looks like a young Ryan Philippe, and that guy's not that guy either. And it was like, he was just some fucking guy.
Dude, I thought for sure that was fucking NPH.
Remember when they also had the Malcolm in the Middle? Then there was like that spinoff. It was like just the middle or whatever. And they had another boy with a giant head, but it wasn't the same boy with a giant head as Dewey. Like they got like another Dewey. Like that's kind of like when I was growing up. The TV shows will do that when they find like a deformed boy and it's working. Then they have execs look around for other deformed boys because like when Different Strokes came out, and that was Gary Coleman. And he was like Arnold, and he was like supposed to be cute, but he was he had like dwarfism and a disease that made him tiny. And everyone's like, get another one. And they found Emmanuel Lewis, and they made the show Webster because ABC had the battle NBC. Like, we need one too. So they went out searching for midgets who could memorize lines.
Jesus.
It's insane. You couldn't do now. That's the funny thing is people might say, oh, that's terrible. You shouldn't be like taking advantage of that. But in nowadays woke culture, they'd be like, perfect. Because nobody should play a dying midget more than a dying midget. That was perfect. You don't want cultural appropriation. You got to get this dying, diseased, kidney-failing boy who's really 38 to pretend like a guy who used to play for the Chicago Bears is his dad. That's what you fucking need. Anyway, Josh Radnor and Jordana Jacobs were married outdoors this month amid a snowstorm with their 164 snow-drenched guests shivering in the 20-degree evening air. Dr. Jacobs read a 10-minute monologue about her beloved, and then Radnor responded with a 10-minute soliloquy. So you're in the fucking snow, you're freezing, and they're both just cutting promos like it's wrestling, just going off on this thing. No strangers to extraordinary circumstances, the couple fell for each other while tripping on mushrooms. And then this part was crazy. I was like, oh, so they're a couple that's known each other for a long time. They do drugs together.
Nah.
It was February 2022. Not just barely 2 years ago. Dr. Jacobs and the clinical psychologist Mr. Radnor, an actor and musician, were at a sound meditation retreat held in upstate New York, along with about 30 people. There, they ingested a psychedelic mixture before lying on the floor on opposite sides of a large room. Masks covered their eyes as they listened to singing bowls and chimes. This is when Mr. Radnor and Mr. Jacobs slid into the DMs of each other's consciousness. That's written in this article. They slid into the DMs of their consciousness. Now, before you say, Pat, I thought we weren't doing the New York Post anymore, I want you to realize this article is written by the New York Times. The New York Times, a paper at one point was supposed to have like some kind of, I know it lost a lot of credibility with the bashing of Bernie Sanders, things like that, but there's still supposed to be, what?
I heard it's failing.
You think so? You think they're failing so much they might do a story? Yes. They might do a story on fucking a guy on mushrooms from a TV show nobody gave a fuck about. And believe me, I would watch the father one more because I'd rather look at Hillary Duff than Bandcamp or whatever the other chicks were in that fucking movie. But that's her, Mr. Radnor said, when a voice told him, that's your woman. So a voice told this guy who was an actor on mushrooms, that woman laying down next to you blindfolded, you have to marry that woman.
Okay, hold up one fucking second. So Radnor hears a voice, follows it. He's the hero that married his wife on mushrooms. Bauer hears a voice, follows it, and he's a bad guy for domestic abuse. I don't know what's going on here, Pat.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but when they were laying down on the beds in the singing bowls were saying, alleged consent, alleged consent. So it was like that's why Jackie was okay. It worked out well. Across the room in the psychosilibin-infused metaverse, Dr. Jacobs was having a conversation with her heart. And her heart said, what do you have to tell me? And she asked, I don't know. He said, you know that man across there? You should be with him. Dude, mushrooms, people are sleeping on mushrooms. Like, what I'm saying is, this is wild because back in the day, when I was growing up, if some guy was being weird, like we had this, I think a lot of towns have it, but there'll always be this one like walking guy in your town. It's like he's not really homeless, but he's always outside. Like our guy, his actually name was like Walking Jack. People call him. He's an older man, but all kids,
I don't think that
everyone
was his
knew
actual name.
Yeah, I think his name was Jack. I would be crazy if it wasn't. He's just Walking
His
Jack.
actual name's just Walking Jack.
Or no, he's
Native
just named
American.
His name's Phil something. It's like why Jack? I don't know. It doesn't rhyme. But Walking Jack would walk, and there'd be stories about Walking Jack. People are like, whoa, that guy, he seems a little off. And they're like, oh, he used to be a genius, but he got so smart that his brain exploded, and now he walks around all dumb. And then when you got a little older, you're like, oh, he did drugs. Like that was older people trying to tell us without saying drugs. They're saying he got so smart. He got so smart. He opened up his mind too much, and he got nuts. And you would go, okay, that makes sense. That's the thing. If you do drugs, then now you can say that's why that guy's weird. That's why that guy's doing weird shit, whatever. And then we kind of pulled away from that. But when people get into a relationship where you're like, hey, you two shouldn't be together, this makes no sense. We always go like, oh, it was this or that or toxic this or that drove them bad parenting. But no one ever goes, yeah, they're on drugs. They met on drugs. That's why they're together. Drugs.
Yeah. I don't have a better answer for you than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't lean into it enough. I'm not a Biden guy, but like if people want, everyone's going, he's old. No, he's not old. If the Secretary of State or the House Speaker just came out and said, hey, with all your questions today, just can you say them louder? Because Biden's on fucking mushrooms, you'd go, that makes sense. If I was old as shit and I was running the world, I would be tripping balls. So then you kind of let it falling off your bike, tripping balls, sniffing a kid, tripping balls. Like, it's weird. Like, you go, okay, don't do that tab anymore. That makes you sniff kids. Like, all right, bro, that's kind of wild. But yeah, I won't do that no more.
That is a good point. That we should get all of our presidents on drugs.
Yeah. I mean, Trump was on drugs.
No.
But they were making him aggressive and good. He was doing his shit when he was on
okay.
that.
Yeah. I thought you meant mushrooms. I was like, I don't think he would.
No. Certain people, no, we don't want him on psychedelics. We need him fucking Adderall the fuck up. we need him going, go team go. Yeah, we need that. Look, you don't think JFK was on drugs?
No. A Catholic boy?
That guy was
an Irish Catholic boy? Come on.
Irish Catholic boy whose dick was always hard. You got to be taking something because that whiskey dick, he's drinking all day.
Good point. Maybe he was. Maybe Viagra. I don't know. They do say meth is what made Hitler convince that dude to stay in the war, Mussolini, because he took some super Adderall and then just ranted for 4 hours and wouldn't let Mussolini pull out.
What I always say whenever I'm in bed with somebody, what would Mussolini do right now? Would he pull out?
No, he wouldn't.
I should too. The old Mussolini pullout, baby. I'm throwing at you right now. Someone's like, Patrice O'Neill did that. Patrice O'Neill did that first, Pat. It was Amy Schumer, then you, then Patrice O'Neill with the Mussolini pullout. I'm like, all right, it's just a joke everyone knows.
Did they tag it with the trains came on time?
Yes. And then they said, if you actually you have your friend come in, you have your friend Trevor Bauer come in and bang the shit out of your wife, and then you walk outside of the house and you go to the window and you wave. It's called the Mussolini pull-out stranger. You're like, hello. And he turns around and she goes, Trevor Bauer? I thought you were my husband. He goes, that's alleged consent. Alleged consent. You thought I was your husband and I wasn't. I went, alleged consent. Mr. Radner, the star of the sitcom How I Met Your Mother, has more recently appeared in Fleischman is in Trouble. You know that thing everyone saw. Fleischman is in Trouble on Hulu. I did not know of that at all. Had a processing a painful breakup for months. So he had just broken up with somebody, met her at a fucking drug party, and then married this lady shortly afterwards. Now, the people that were there,
a long time. This marriage.
Pat. Oh yeah. Well, the mushrooms. I don't think the wedding. The mushrooms are going to last a long time. So it gets into a whole thing about they were trying to do healing and things like that. But every couple has their version of flirting. They said this is theirs. Mushrooms. That's their version of flirting. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it the New York Times for thinking this is news? This is not news. Nobody gives a fuck. The fact that we're actually going to, dude, what do we talk about? People are tired of COVID or political bashing, all these things that we've been going after. What does it fucking matter? Like, hey, is there any famous weddings that have been going on? Any distractions? Like, you know that guy from How I Met Your Mother? They're like, well, Neil Patrick Harris? Like, no. The one you don't think about. Like, oh, okay, yeah. He married a lady and they were doing mushrooms. Like, we're going to do a pro-mushrooms story? Like, we're really going to, the New York Times, we're going to do a story that says if you do mushrooms, and go to some place where you can lay on the ground and listen to bulls sing, like fucking Beauty and the Beast. Like fucking candlestick's gonna go. Be our guest, be our guest. That's your sister. That's incest. Like what are you gonna do? We gotta listen to this. If we put that with a psychologist and say that's a fun love story in the snow, people will love our thing. It's like, you're doing pro-drugged women getting married. Like, this woman later on can come back and goes, I was a psychologist and I got psychologically abused by the guy from fucking Fleischman is My Hero, or the fuck show was. It's like, is it the New York Times for doing the story? Is it them for falling in love on mushrooms and making it like it's a big tale? What happened to discretion? What happened to not saying this? Just saying, hey, we met, we used to hang out in the same circles, and now we're here together. Is it the fucking couple, all the people, the 167 people that went to this thing in the snow and didn't fucking leave the second they started going off for 10 goddamn minutes each in a speech? I'd be like, fuck your wedding, fuck you, give us all mushrooms. If we're not all tripping balls in the snow, then I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. We all tripping balls or no one tripping balls? That's what it is. Or is it you and I for covering this story? I know it's a Monday. Right now, I'm realizing if we had a guest, I wouldn't have had to get to that story. Maybe we should have had a guest. Or is it Neil Patrick Harris for not saving this like he does every other show he's on? Who's the piece of shit?
One point, my favorite thing about Neil Patrick Harris was the Harold and Kumar movies, where he would show
He was very
up,
good in those, yeah.
and they'd be like, aren't you gay? And he'd be like, I'm gay for that pussy. It's one of my favorite lines of any movie of all time.
I've
But,
enjoyed him in almost everything he's been in. Even when he hosts things like shows I wouldn't normally watch, I've always enjoyed him.
And what's crazy
I was
is
never
all
shocked when they're like, hey, you know that guy who was a boy actor and now he's in a TV show, he's gay, he's the gayest man in history of gay. I wasn't like, oh, really? Neil Patrick Harris, gay? Come on. He's got 3 names. He's not a shooter. You either kill the president or you're gay if you have 3 names. That's what you do.
makes sense to me. I was just gonna say you enjoyed everything he was in, and all the directors enjoyed every time they were in him.
Wait, do you think he's a bottom?
Yes.
Oh.
Look at him.
I don't know why, but I always thought because of the star power, I guess he's the wife. I always thought he was like the husband, but just because he was the famous one. But that makes no sense. That's not fair. You know what? That's misogynistic of me.
If he wanted to use his star power to fuck Pat, he would be a straight man. That's what
No, but he
straight
can fuck
men do.
other men, like P Diddy.
We don't have time to get into P Diddy.
All right, P Diddy versus Neil Patrick Harris in a battle.
Have you
What do
seen
they
the
call those
video?
rap battles where the ciphers? We can have like a gay cipher, an
Or
in cipher.
verses. They just got to play their hits. My favorite meme is there's a guy who looks a little bit. Have you seen the video of the guy going around? He's like, they got your man's on sexual misconduct charges. Have you seen that?
Yes.
So then somebody face swapped Tupac and it's like Tupac to Biggie in heaven. They got your man's, the one you've been running around with. But for me, the piece of shit in this story, Pat, is anybody who didn't leave. You fucked up by going to the wedding. Have you ever gone to a wedding you wanted to be at, even your own?
Yeah, I've been to 2 weddings I wanted to be at, and neither one was my own.
Okay, well, fair enough. But the point I was getting at, weddings suck already, okay? Either you're traveling somewhere you don't want to be, you're seeing people you don't want to be. Like sometimes your cousin who you don't like keeps going, did you get our RSVP? And you keep pretending you don't have a number because you don't want to go to her fucking wedding that's the last weekend of prime comedy season. And you didn't even get a +1, which is hella disrespectful. So, like, weddings in general suck. If you show up and the people are on mushrooms, they don't give you any mushrooms, that's your time to leave. If for some reason you fucking stayed and it got to the point where they start to do a 10-minute soliloquy, you go, they're not going to notice if we leave. And then you leave. You nailed it with the idea of, like, if this was a woman and she said no, this would be a completely different story that the Times would be covering. But, like, I get that people do drugs. I do miss the days where it was like, this dude was so fucked up, they got married in Vegas last night. Like, and it was a bad thing. Not everybody should do mushrooms and find their soulmate of psilocybin or whatever.
But you know what they should have done, Bobby? You're saying, like, if everyone gets drugs, what you do is you have the ushers up front when you come in. Instead of saying, like, are you here for the bride or the groom? Are you here for that side or the shroom? And that's what you say. So you come in and you go, shrooms, please. And then everyone tripping balls sits on one side together. And then everybody, because you could have the lighting a little different. You can make sure they're okay with over there. And if you're not going to do shrooms, you're on this side. So at least there's not a guy on shrooms in your ear going, do you have snacks? And it's like, you don't need that guy like talking to you while you're trying to be at the wedding.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And, like, if you're not on shrooms, maybe the section is just at home. There's nothing worse than being around people tripping and not tripping yourself.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I don't drink, but when people drink around me, they're like, oh, I'm not like person that brings it up. I can still hang and have fun. But I've been around people that are like, you know, tripping balls or, I mean, even like high on weed that's like super powerful, where I know that even though I'm trying to have fun, I'm kind of making them feel awkward. You don't need me around, and vice versa. Because I'm not speaking their language. I'll ask them to repeat something, and they're like, oh, am I being too weird? They get in their own head. You don't need them around. And you definitely don't need them at a wedding. Because a wedding has too many rules, regulations. And then to have these two just go off talking, the last thing you want is someone just fucking doing a speech when you're tripping balls.
Oh, absolutely. And to be honest, Pat, you're the last person I would want to be around if I was tripping balls.
What?
Like,
How dare you?
You're loud. You're not aggressive, but you're firm, and it would just be like, is he gonna kill me? Is this man gonna attack me? Mushrooms.
You gotta be a little bit louder. It's coming out a little bit. But,
mushrooms are ridiculous. I can't stop laughing. That wouldn't work in public for me.
Yeah, but at a wedding, that'd be hilarious. Everyone's like, do you take so-and-so? You're like, like, you know, the back's just cracking up. Does anyone object to this wedding? It's like, you're just cracking up the entire day. That's fun. By the way, if you're going to do the verses with those guys, it should be HI verses.
There you go. Bringing it
That's our
home.
new hashtag, HI versus.
HI versus.
The piece of shit in this story is any woman who would marry Josh Radnor, the former star of How I Met Your Mother, and Fleischman, whatever, after he's those things. You marry that man. I know, I understand there's some syndication money, but I know it's not the same anymore when it can just be on all the streaming networks. You're marrying this man when he's got nothing left to offer, and you are a psychologist. You have a practice. You have all these things going on. He's going to get real annoying real quick. When he's not getting in any more roles, and all he's doing is mushrooms off your fucking script, now you're not gonna like this guy anymore. This wedding and this marriage was supposed to begin while he was at his height. That's when you're doing drugs together. And then he falls down and falls apart, and she has to decide: do I stay with him? And she has to lose her business because of the drugs. I know mushrooms aren't the thing that make your whole life go crazy and apart. But it's not a good time for your brain if you're doing them all the time. Like at your wedding, it's how you meet, it's how you do things. So I think that she's the piece of shit because she married a guy on his way down while he's a Hollywood guy while he's doing drugs. You don't do that. You marry them when you don't know yet. Then you start to realize they have issues and spiral.
Or you catch them on the rebound like Sharon Osbourne, and you build them back up, and you go, "I'm the business now."
But he wasn't really on the rebound. I mean, rebound of love. I mean, he was on drugs and drinking still.
Right, that's my point. She found him at a low point and was like, "I can take advantage of this situation."
Yeah, well, her dad was actually one of the management people, and she's like, "I got it. I'll fuck this."
He was
one.
like, "You're a fugly bitch. Here's how we're gonna get you married."
Right. You just fucked everyone in Rat. Come on over here.
And you look like a rat.
Yes. I heard Dockin was there. They said they were space docking you. Oh no, space docking, mother trucker. Is that something?
Probably.
All right. So okay, Bobby, back to sports for a second, right? I gotta read this. Go ahead.
Did you want to go back to sports or did you want to go entertainment? We'll do your sports story and then I got one entertainment story to get.
Okay, no. Let's do your entertainment. Then I can close it out in sports.
Okay. Are you familiar with what's going on with Disney right now?
Like the Disney with all the woke and then having the backtrack?
Yep, and back and forth and profit loss and all that stuff. So you are. Disney may have the answer.
For those who don't know, Disney's people, they hired new people to come in and go. South Park covered it, all that stuff. But in real life, they've gone so woke, they've ruined what was unruinable. But mostly, I mean, a lot of things, but mostly the the Marvel franchises. They've made it so nobody wants to go see them. And women in those things are trying to say, oh yeah, it's because men aren't supporting it. But men love women in those kind of costumes. Men would go see these movies. And they're also comic book things, so they love the stories. Comic book nerds, the real ones, not today's ones, the ones back in the day, those like diehard guys, they are some of the most open-minded people because they watch aliens fuck each other. They watch cats talk. Like, they're very open to everything. They would go see that because that's the stories that spoke to them. They were just shit-ass movies because they were putting in messages in that weren't needed. But go ahead, Bobby.
No, you've nailed it. And they're in trouble. And they believe they may have the answer to all of their financial problems. And one of the things people have pointed out is Disney's strayed so far from their original animations. So they believe they have their next big animation, and I'm just going to read the story now. In a stunning turn of events, Disney announces plans to acquire the rights to a dramatic story involving Kiburi, the alleged son of Harambe, the gorilla whose death in 2016 sparked global controversy. The story unfolds with Kiburi reportedly recognizing and attacking a zoo guard linked to Harambe's death during a visit to the Cincinnati Zoo. The zoo staff quickly sedated Kiburi in real life, preventing any harm, but Disney plans to take some creative licensing. Disney aims to transform Kiburi's tale into a film highlighting the themes of animal intelligence, family bonds, and redemption, in a tribute to Harambe's lasting legacy. Dicks out for Harambe. Who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? Is it Kiburi for attacking that security guard? Is it the security guard for returning to the zoo? Returning to the scene of the murder, if you will? Or is it Disney for once again trying to capitalize on a gorilla who's down?
It's not the son. Sometimes you got to, take the job that your father left. You know what I mean? That's kind of like when Bindi took over for the family business when Steve Irwin died. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't ready yet. She needed more time, but they had to throw Bindi into the fold to keep the fucking croc business going. I get that.
Or
It's
even
not,
like in Disney terms, Mufasa, right? And then Simba comes to take the throne. Same kind of idea. I'm
right.
sure
the
there'll
same
be
thing,
like
you
a
gotta
parakeet that
fill
he
in
has
and
to
do
sing
it.
a gay song with.
Yeah, or like Bronny and LeBron. You got something you might not be built for it, but you got to build up the family business. You know, it's not Disney. Disney, a company that's always been worried about making sure everyone was happy. They built a kingdom, literally built a kingdom to make sure children are happy and getting their money all the time. What do? Some people are saying, "Oh, he's put out cartoons. We have some merch." So like, we will build a magical fucking land that will make you so fucking happy that you have to think that people that win the Super Bowl think they have to fucking go there. They're always thinking like their owner, their creator was so fucking outside the box. He's like, when I'm dead, cut off my fucking head, put it in a freezer. That's how creative I am. I get fucking goofy. And he's like, well, make sure it's not a black head or Jeffrey Dahmer will get me. He's like, no, don't worry, it's a frozen white head. He hates those. If you microwave those at 70% at high heat, then they come out. Wow. But anyway, it's not them. The piece of shit in this story is obviously you, Bobby. This is the fake story. And I like what you did there. You did it with the misdirect. You started off talking, then you went, hey, Pat, if you don't mind, I'll read now. And I'm like, oh, Bob, you haven't said that in any other stories. You were trying to make it seem so natural that you didn't. There's no way that Harambe's Kid Barry, whatever his rap name is in the streets, whatever fucking name you made up, it's me, Kid Barry.
Dude, I think that might actually be his kid's name, Kiburi, Kiburi.
Okay, it could be. I don't think he named it. So because he's a fucking monkey, and monkeys don't name things. So it's like they don't have names. They're just fucking monkey with the slinging dick and then son of monkey slinging dick. That's what they are. But yes, this thing you just said, if we put this clip, if your AI thing you do clips this part and puts it up there, within a year, Disney or Pixar will be making a movie based on Harambe's child and having to deal with that. But it'll be like Harambe left to get milk and it never came back. And that was like finding Harambe instead of finding Nemo. He gets together and he's like, oh no, where's my dad? My dad's dead. But they'll have to make them white monkeys so nobody gets upset. But yes, the piece of shit in the story is you. This is fake. But if we're going with the real thing, it's Disney for not already thinking of this. Every time there should be. Like, you know what? I just gave you your movie right there. You take Kid Barry and you take fucking Kid Barry and Bindi. You take them together. Kid Barry and Bindi on a quest to fucking make sure that their dads are remembered. And they're traveling around like a Free Willy scenario of a young monkey and a girl finding their dreams.
I think you're this close, which is instead of them being on a team, they could be the undercard for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
Bindi versus a monkey?
Versus Kidbury. Yeah. Or better yet, versus Charlotte the Stingray.
Dude,
I kill you and your 4 kids. This is for Steve.
So let's say the monkey comes out first. And they want to make sure that the lights don't come out on his eyes because he's getting scared of the paparazzi. So they put a towel over his head. And he walks out and some guy goes, oh, the Tyson match is now? And then he says it out loud and everyone goes, dude, that's a monkey. And then Tyson goes, what the fuck? And runs out and beats the shit out of that guy. Dude, that'd be the greatest fucking...
And that guy was Jake Paul.
Yes. And Jake Paul's like, now I can't sleep with my girlfriend anymore. I'm so beaten up. And she's like, well, you couldn't anyway because you didn't have alleged consent. Alleged consent. Now you didn't win, so you can't pay your rent, which I'm sure he can pay his rent just fine. But who do you think the piece of shit is in the story you made up?
For me, it's Disney. They've gone so far into this woke agenda, it's time for them to go back to their roots of anti-Semitism.
Or racism.
Which is when they were successful. When they were racist
like
anti-Semites, now they're woke and they're failing. What does that tell you?
It's a bluebird on my shoulder. Is it true?
Yeah.
It's actual. It was all cartoons and a black guy. Like, they knew no one's going to act with a black guy. Who will? Bluebird. Cartoon. It's fact. Everything is satisfactual. He's the same thing. Zippity doo dah. Like, there's nothing more racist than zippity doo dah.
Yeah, I mean, they like that song in the vault. It's not allowed out anymore.
It is not, but
what if slavery wasn't bad and they kind of enjoyed it?
It's the loving tale of someone who can't fight their feelings anymore from coming to America and finding their love. Amistad, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's Roots, the musical.
I enslaved your family. You're welcome. He's just singing. I was like, oh, nice.
It's so bad.
Well, by the way, also Disney loves just killing off a parent. All those fucking cartoons.
That's why
is
this
always
story
just like,
fits so perfectly. It's amazing
Yeah,
they haven't
it
done
did.
this already. It's literally just take any Shakespeare plot and throw Harambe in. It works.
It's Bindi doesn't know what to do when she's missing her dad, and she's trying to contact her dad through spirits, and it has like a fun little song, and you show like Casper the ghost flying by. You're like, oh no, what's gonna happen here? Bindi contacts Casper, and Casper goes, I have a friend up here that would like a friend, 2 friends actually, and all of a sudden the ghost of Jean-Benet Ramsey and fucking Kaylee Anthony come down. They're like, oh no, it's the summertime girls movie you didn't know you needed. Bindi, Kaylee Anthony, and Jean-Benet Ramsey in Yaya Sisterhood Pants or whatever the fuck it is, too. Still grooving. But they're looking for their dads and for a good time. Disney, please make this movie.
They find Charlotte along the way. Charlotte's babies, they're also looking for their dad.
And as Charlotte swims up and smiles at them, Free Willy comes and eats fucking Charlotte. It's like, oh no.
That's a life.
All right. So we'll do one more and then we'll get the hell out of here. Okay. So obviously, we talked about before, March Madness is happening. So on Thursday, it'll be the NCAA tournament. If people aren't familiar with sports, it'll be with 64 teams. I know there's 68 and there's 64, whatever. Battle with a tournament style from highest rank to lowest rank, playing each other in brackets so they get to the Final Four and they get the national championship and all that. But a way to get people into that is by having your regular season games and then your conference tournaments. And there was a bunch of conference tournaments this weekend for teams qualifying to get in. And there was one of them for which conference was it? The Atlantic 10 Championship this weekend. Okay, so you have Duquesne and Virginia Commonwealth, known as VCU. They were playing in a game to see who would win. There was an issue, and I will just read what legendary at this point. I'd say that he's been the voice of college basketball in lots of sports. Kevin Harlan for a long time now. If you hear Kevin Harlan's voice is even in a lot of the video games and stuff of that nature too. He's got like that Marv Albert without the creepiness type voice there. It's a perfect sound for basketball. He's a legend. He's been known for a long time. But right near the end of the game wasn't over yet. An issue happened, a technical issue at the court. So the quote by Kevin Harlan, who, by the way, I'm not going to scream it, but was losing his mind, goes, "Confetti falling right now. Confetti is falling on the floor. They're going to have to stop playing. We can't see our notes. The players can't work on this court. Confetti is everywhere. Someone hit the wrong button." Yes. Somebody hit the confetti button because they were getting ready to celebrate when the championship won, and they hit it before the game was over. And without just being like, "Oh, there's a technical problem," Kevin Harlan lost his shit and fucking just started like screaming, like, "Who's at fault at this?" And in the middle, he was smart enough to come afterwards and go, "Oh, these kids are in danger." But if you notice, first he goes, "I can't see my notes." Oh, you can't see her. There's like 4 minutes left in the fucking championship. What note do you need right now? Watch the goddamn game. But I like stuff like that. I like when you're watching the game. I like when you watch a game and you see somebody go whoop and they slip and they fall, and you know the guy who's supposed to mop sweat was looking at the cheerleaders and forgot to go over and do his little sweat move. Like shit like that. Or like when you see LeBron walk over and do the powder thing, but then he's staring around mad for a minute and you realize the guy who's in charge of putting the powder there didn't do it. Like dumb little things you see like that. That's a good time. But when it happens something like this, that's not something anybody can control. First of all, I mean, confetti's dumb anyway, but whatever. It's funny. It's silly. You clean it up. Yeah. Yes, it ruins momentum. It ruins everything. It ruins the game when that happens, but fuck it. It reminds you that it's fun because confetti is fun. You put confetti or sprinkles on anything, like a lot of people say, and it makes it better. You know what I mean? Grandma's dead. Throw sprinkles or confetti on grandma. She looks more fun. You know what I mean? You know,
Oh, yeah.
She stings. But and then he starts yelling at the people that are out there because all the fans came out and they were grabbing it. And then actually Harlan's commentator partner Don Bonner, who was a Baylor for a while, started picking up the confetti off the thing and getting up. And then Harlan just yells, "You're collecting it like you're gonna bring it home to your grandkids or something. It's confetti. Relax." And he just starts like yelling. And then Bonner was like, "My grandkids would probably like this, but you're the one who's complaining you can't see anything, so we got to clean this table off for you." So right away they start having like a domestic argument, kind of the theme of today's show.
Yeah.
But in last month, Harlan, who started his career with calling Kansas City Chiefs games, made headlines for his call of Mecole Hardman's Super Bowl winning touchdown. He's also called multiple streakers and nearly fell out of his chair when calling Furman's upset victory of Virginia. So he's always fired up. Like, that's Harlan's thing, but he lost his shit on people and went nuts. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Kevin Harlan for not keeping his composure? The guy's been doing announcing forever. Shit happens all the time. Yes, it makes it funny for us to talk about, but those moments where he's supposed to be the guy who can talk in the TV timeout, whatever's happened to Confetti, make jokes, make light, do whatever. Don't lose your shit. Is it Don Bonner for going, "Oh, I better clean this up"? He's added, if you or anyone who's ever been in a toxic relationship, Don Bonner is enabling right now. Don Bonner was like, "I know he's going to get mad, but that's just his way. He means, well, I'll clean up." He's getting yelled at, whatever. He makes a joke. "My grandkids would like this. Maybe you should relax a little and calm down." Is it the guy who hit the wrong button? Yeah, it happens in life. He's excited. He's near the end. He's been like, all he's been doing is doing the thing when people come in and out. He doesn't have a lot of fun. I'm guessing he's not in charge of the whole scoreboard. I'm guessing there's a scoreboard guy and then there's confetti button guy, and that's like, or he's like, bam, 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 bam. He's like that guy. Y'all ready for this? like he has a couple of the fired up buttons. Is it that guy? Is it the guy who installed the confetti button or decided we need confetti? Because there's a decision there. You're like, hey, listen, championship, does everyone come out to the court? Like, well, we're trying, we talked about this last week. They're trying to stop people rushing the court. So then one guy's like, yeah, I know we're supposed to stop it. What if we drop confetti? That won't make people want to run out to the court and grab it and get nuts. That'll make people want to sit in their seats, right? Raining fucking colors. Especially if our boys from the last story, Josh and his new wife, are on mushrooms. They see fucking confetti flying. They're going to think the sky's got Skittles in it. They're going to run out and go try to grab those things. Is it the players for like not being able to play through confetti? Bobby, I'm sure you've played outdoor basketball. So have I. It starts getting windy. It's rainy. You have a pickup game and you get a fat guy in your team. You didn't realize it. You got to change your game. Sometimes obstacles get in your way and you play. You could play through confetti. Steph Curry would still be shooting from 40 feet out with confetti and still hit the three. You think Dame would give a fuck if there was any fucking confetti? No. You fucking play that game. Obstacles, you know what I mean? You play through confetti. Yeah, you might slip and fall, but that's how you break ankles, you know what I mean? If you're the guy who can't do it, then you got the nastiest handle in the game. Who's the piece of shit in the story, Bobby?
Well, how did they know what color confetti to drop?
I think it was just like all kinds of colors.
Because you need to know what team won to drop confetti or not.
They dropped red and blue confetti. They had colors of both teams. So I'm reading here. Duquesne ended up winning anyway. The Punch's first ticket to the tournament since '77. There was plenty of red and blue confetti left for the official celebration.
Okay. It just seems weird that they had that confetti ready to go. For me, the piece of shit in this story is anybody who's mad the confetti fell. Not the commentator. He's trying to make that game interesting. He's covering Duquesne versus VCU for a championship. You know, Duquesne, the team you accidentally pick when you're trying to get to Duke in NCAA basketball, and the third best school in Virginia. Like, he's doing what he can to make it interesting. It's not the person who's getting abused by him. You're sitting there with the fucking legend, right? You do whatever it takes to make him happy. It's the fans who were mad. Also, yes, this would be the perfect time to storm the court with the confetti, but use it strategically. I've told the story a number of times. Matt Shamu's dad hit the lights in the gym when we needed a timeout. Jason Kidd did the thing with the drink in his hand, hit me so he could spill it to get a timeout. Use it strategically, and I'm all for it. I get what you're saying about playing in confetti, but, dude, when it comes down like that, have you had it dumped on you when you won something?
No, not confetti, no. I mean, Gatorade,
I've seen it.
But never confetti.
Our girls' basketball team was good. So they dropped it once, and it's a whiteout. Like, you can't see somebody's going to tear an ACL. And these kids, like they said, this is the first time Duquesne. None of them thought they were going to the tournament. You can't have them getting hurt before that. So for me, the piece of shit is going to be the people mad.
Now, two things that you said there. One, I hate to get technical, but I believe they're the fourth best team in Virginia because you forgot about the Richmond Spiders, baby. They're always a good team. They get out there too. I know you were going Virginia and Virginia Tech, but no, we're also going. I'm going to say they're probably fourth VCU. Second of all, thank you for pronouncing it the way you did. When I said that you went Duquesne, and you even paused and said Duquesne. Are you kidding me? You think it's Duke to make sure we emphasize that thing. And you walk right into that because the end of this article, this is by the USA Today article, after all the confetti, all the story about, first they get into the confetti, then they actually tell you about the game. And at the end, there's a separate little part that goes, for those who are wondering, here's how you pronounce Duquesne. Duquesne is a private Catholic university located in Pittsburgh. The school is pronounced Duquesne. And they write out DOO-KANE. So, which I find funny because okay, I get it. You could put an extra O because you want a longer O. If you said DO, we still know that's the word do. No one's saying do, but I get that. But when you're doing something to make sure people read it right, Kane, K-A-N-E, is not a word.
No.
C-A-N-E is the word. Kane is the wrestling guy who's the brother of the Undertaker and slept with dead people sometimes. But maybe they were like, oh, who's reading this? White trash. What are they like? Doo-doo and Kane the wrestler. We put that together. They'll know how to read this word.
That may just be phonetics.
No, it definitely is. But I would still think you'd go with the C and not with the K.
Yeah.
Because I would look at that and go, do Kanye. What? Do Kanye is not the name of that school. You better do not Kanye. The piece of shit in the story is Kevin Harlan. Kevin Harlan, grow up. You know what I mean? Make that fun. Go crazy. Have a good time with it. You know, just like if you and I were doing that game, right? I think we would both be taking turns going. You know, it's like I like when a lot of teams celebrate the end of a game. When you celebrate with 4 minutes left, that means you just know you want to have a good time. You go to the audience. You always find that fat guy who starts getting up. You know, the fake dancing guys. Who are like, oh wait, me? I'm on camera, me? And they're like, oh shit, he's doing a punch dance. Look at him go. What he's doing, Tanner Rick. And they're all just running around doing shit. It's a good fucking time. You do that stuff. It's not Don Bonner. Bonner was just trying to fucking make it. He was actually trying to help. And then he's probably like, did you just call me out on the air for cleaning up? How about you get the fuck up and clean? You're sitting there yelling, complaining. You're crying about, your notes not being seen. Why aren't you clearing off some shit and making sure you can see it? You can't. You're a professional. You do that. You nail that. John Madden would have had a fucking... John Madden and Pat Summerall, if confetti fell down early, dude, the circling of the confetti, where it fell from, the top, you would find the button. Here's the guy, boom, that's the guy. He hit the wrong button, and he's the Eagle Beaver, whatever. Like, look at the sweat going down his brow. It would have been like super fun to have that there. Dick Vitale would have been amazing. Oh baby, confetti falling from the sky. Look, it's going down. It's like fish fall. We learned earlier last week's show. Look at everything coming down there. Capital A, just yelling. No, but this guy's like, wah, confetti's ruining my fucking game thing. You make fucking six figures easy every time you talk, you piece of shit. You know what I feel bad for? The kids. Virginia Commonwealth. Because now they didn't make it to the tournament. I mean, I don't know their thing. I didn't look at the bracket. Maybe they got brought. I would guess 2 teams from the Atlantic 10 ain't going in. I'm guessing you're either winning. It's not like back in the day when there was like Temple and UMass and all them, where several teams would go in. They're not the same style anymore.
No.
So I'm guessing Virginia Tech is now going to be in the NIT. So not only did they lose, but there was this premature thing where something came down to celebrate, and people are talking more about that than even your hard-fought performance. You know what I mean? It also takes away from Duquesne a little bit because they won, but everyone cares more about this than they do about the actual win, because everyone knows Duquesne's probably going to get like a 12 seed or something like that for winning like 10 and have a tough time battling any 4 out of the Big Ten or something like that. It's fucking Kevin Harlan. Fucking grow up. Do your goddamn job. Be a trooper.
For me, it's Bonner as well. I just thought about this a little more. He should have looked over and said, come on, man. He had alleged consent to hit that button.
Alleged consent. Alleged consent. The guys were shooting from the line 80%. Alleged consent. Why is this not becoming a musical that we can do all the time? But
Alleged Consent the musical.
Is it alleged then consent the musical? It's like, I don't want this musical. You better give us consent because we're gonna sing at you if you want it or not. So
I like
thank
that.
you everybody for watching today. Make sure you're hitting subscribe and like and all those fun things. Is there anything else you want to plug, Bobby? Because I did mine, you did yours. Was there anything else you want people to know?
No, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. We'll be back on Wednesday, 8 a.m. Probably tomorrow night. Well, you and I will talk, but I think we'll be doing it tomorrow, Tuesday night,
Probably,
8
yeah.
p.m. probably, or somewhere around that time. Just if you subscribe to the channel, you'll know. So we'll put a notification up, and you'll know when it's going to be up there and ready to go. So tomorrow, Wednesday, back here, 8 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You guys are the best. Everyone that was here today, you are awesome.
in
We
the
really
chat.
appreciate all you guys. And then for the one guy who asked the question that we weren't going to answer on here, message Bobby on your own. He can answer you. Bobby, do you have any words of wisdom to leave us?
Yeah, remember, everybody, God forgives. You don't.
Yeah, and also remember, alleged consent. Just get regular.